Good morning, everybody, and you're very welcome today. We're interviewing Evelyn Preston from Gas Networks Ireland. They're recently joined members of the Chamber. In fact, they were one of my last member meetings I had before the lockdown. So Evelyn is the SME Sales and New Connections Manager. So Evelyn, thanks very much for joining us today, and it's great to see you. Would you like to just give us a little bit of background as to the presence of Gas Network Ireland in Laois?
Absolutely, Bernie. First of all, thanks for inviting us along today. And it's good to see you're keeping well. I'm not conscious that we were one of the last people into your office before the shutdown. So yeah, I obviously work in Gas Networks Ireland, and we're part of the RBA group. And what we do is we build, own and manage the gas network in Ireland. To date, we have 100 or 700,000 customers connected to the gas network, 30,000 of which are industrial and commercial, so your SMEs, etc., would fall into that pot. We have over 8,000 customers in Laois, over 300 of which are in the industrial and commercial sector. So we have some of the very prominent hotels in the town and the hospital, etc., on the gas network. And we have over 220 kilometres of gas network running through in Laois, serving Portlaoise, Killinard, Stradbally. I actually have a map here behind me, which I'm conscious we left one of these into your office as well. Yeah. So maybe when you're back up and running, if anyone wants to see where the gas network is, it's there in your office as well. And look, the gas network, the natural gas is of strategic importance to Ireland. It's 30% of the primary energy fuel mix of Ireland. And given the recent weather and in the last few weeks, we have powered up to 70% of electricity as well. So look, it's, it is of key strategic importance, and we're very conscious. We are a member of the Laois Chamber. We're a member of a number of chambers, and we're very keen, I suppose, at this time to support the chambers, to support the SME and businesses. So delighted to be here today to talk about some initiatives we've looked at.
And I'm assuming you've been working throughout as an essential service.
Absolutely. I suppose, when we think of frontline, we think of the medical staff, but there's also a number of frontline services. And I think that has become more prominent during this crisis. We have our own frontline staff that are there working to ensure security of supply of gas, which hasn't been an issue. We have tested and robust procedures in place to deal with these crises, to ensure gas security and the supply of gas, and also to respond to any emergency works that would arise during the crisis, and also to assist our vulnerable customers. So look, like everybody else, I think that weekend of March 13th, just over Paddy's weekend, the decision was made that all employees that could work remotely would look to work remotely. So I've been working from home since then. And then in line with the government announcement since March 28th, we have, at that time, we suspended all non-essential works. And I suppose, in line with the government's roadmap now for reopening society and business, we've started to recommence some works in the last week. But this is mainly really just around outdoor works, so, external meter fits, but we don't need access to occupied premises. And we're taking a very risk-based approach to ramping back up our business. So we're looking at each stage of the roadmap and deciding what works we should look to recommence at each different stage. So look, and that's to keep ourselves, our customers, our suppliers, and the general public safe. And I suppose just one thing that if I could mention, we've had a majority of our work suspended over the last 2 months. So we do have a significant backlog of works to get through. And I suppose, we're still working within the current restrictions. So we really do appreciate the patience of our customers at this time. And just to assure everybody that we are looking to get rid of that backlog as soon as possible.
And you've got some great initiatives and schemes throughout this. The first one that caught my eye, the supply suspension scheme for your SMEs.
Yes.
Very welcome, I can imagine, for customers.
Well, absolutely. It's a time where there's huge financial pressure, especially on the SMEs, and especially, as I mentioned to you, a lot of our SME sector would be in the our SMEs would be in the hospitality sector. Gas is kind of the energy of choice for the likes of restaurants. Chefs like to work with it. So we're very conscious of that sector and the challenges they're having during this time, but also of our frontline workers, our own frontline workers in Gas Networks Ireland, healthcare workers, and even people in the community that are going above and beyond at the moment. So an initiative we had looked at and which we ran a couple of weeks ago was we partnered with a number of radio stations, Midlands being the one, I suppose, more relevant to yourselves. And over a week, over a 5-day period, we gave a €100 voucher each day, where listeners could nominate their everyday heroes, whether they be frontline staff, family, neighbours. And there was a winner each day, and they got the €100 voucher, and that was for restaurants that are customers of ours. Kelly's Steakhouse was the one in Port which is part of the Midlands Park Hotel. Look, it was really well received, and it was nice to be able to, give back something, albeit it's very, a small token to the frontline workers and to everyday heroes, and also to our customers who we know are very challenged at this time.
It's the simple ideas that are really catching the imagination, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
And you probably know Kelly's recently just reopened there for takeout.
I saw it, yeah.
It's been going fantastic. Yeah, Dara was on last week, and they're really happy. They were really kind of reluctant and a bit not really sure how it would go, but it's great. I think community spirit and supporting local business is the new order of the day, really.
And it's great to see how businesses are adapting at this time.
Yeah.
And like, I live in Naas myself, and I'd be very conscious of supporting local, and that's my justification for getting a takeaway every weekend as well.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Sorry, I think I got it slightly mixed up there as well. Just on the supply suspension scheme, I jumped into the other one. So the supply suspension scheme, again, was an initiative that we'd looked at, conscious of the financial pressures on the SMEs. So we agreed with our regulator, the CRU, that we would go capacity charges for eligible SME customers for a 90-day period. So any customer that hasn't been consuming gas over and during the crisis is able to apply for this scheme. And it was opened on the 1st of May. Over 1,800 applications have been received to date. And look, it's just a small gesture and that to alleviate some financial pressure, but that, along with other government supports, hopefully can help SMEs get back up and running. So if any of your members want to investigate that further, the best place for them to contact is their energy supplier, and they'll talk them through that.
That's a fantastic, and I'd say very welcome initiative. But you've also been involved in other initiatives, like your enabling learning program. You're teaming up with Midland Science and Maynooth University. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so look, STEM is always a key focus within Gas Networks. And during the crisis, we were looking at, how can we support learning from home? Conscious myself, 2 kids, to try and do the homeschooling, balance it with work, etc. So we collaborated with Midland Science, where we deliver a range of online science at home videos. These go live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Midland Science web Facebook page, and they're hosted by Daniel Nickstrom of Maynooth University. So look, it's a really good way to introduce people, younger children to science and engineering, which is, it's just hugely important that we build that interest in going forward.
Yeah. And I mean, this pandemic is rooted in science. So, I mean, there's real life pieces and climate change they can relate to. So that's fantastic. You're also a charity partner with Age Action. So you have some nice initiatives going on there as well.
Yeah, Age Action is, we work with them throughout the year, but just very conscious at this time, the community is central to what we do. I'm just very conscious at this time as well that it's so important to support the elderly now more than ever. So one of the initiatives as well there was we partnered with the Irish Red Cross and Age Action to set up a hardship fund. Over 25,000 of this fund has been allocated to date. And we're also volunteering input into another initiative they have around a digital program, which is can't think of the name. Getting started, stay in touch. So that's kind of where we would tutor the aged people in society how to use the digital means to stay in contact with their family and their friends, which is so important at the moment because they can feel isolated if they don't have family close by, or And to be able to see people, I think, is very different as well, rather than talk to them on the phone. You know,
Yeah,
I'd have my own mum would be
yeah,
cocooning as well, and just be able to see
yeah,
grandkids and stuff does make
yeah.
a difference.
It does. My mom's in a nursing home. She's 90, but she's kind of beyond the smartphone piece. But look, she does the traditional talking on the phone. But look, it's you've some amazing initiatives, and when you sent me the newsletter in last week, it caught my eye, and I just thought it's really important that members and your customers at Laois know about these initiatives, because you know you're not just running the other way and turning a blind eye. You're staying connected to your customers and looking to see how you can help them. I think it's really impressive from yourselves as an organisation.
Thanks, Bernie.
To
And
do that.
yeah, no, it is. And like, our focus for the year, you know, we appreciate it's a very challenging time for the SMEs, and our focus for the remainder of the year is to see how we can support SMEs, and whether that's through, you know, working with chambers like yourselves. And I know we're discussing an initiative maybe that we can look at later in the year.
Yeah,
And it's just, you know, I suppose that's where our focus is at the moment. It's a challenging time, and it's in, you know, everyone's interest that we get our SME sector back up and running, and that we all look to support them, you know, whether that be shopping locally or even, you know, larger organizations doing their bits as well.
yeah. I think every time I do an interview, it always comes out. I think that community is going to be back at the heart of everything. We've certainly lost it, but I think there's a newfound appreciation for the frontline workers, the people in retail, people in restaurants. They're as crucial to the economy as any of the rest of us. So I think it's
That's it. And like, I even
good
saw an
point.
article in the paper this morning that's saying, you know, cleaners are now frontline workers. There's, you know,
Yeah,
we would have always have thought frontline workers were the healthcare, but when you look at it, who are the
yeah,
essential services that we need in this
yeah,
crisis?
yeah,
And, you know, as you mentioned there, the sense of community has just so come back, and
yeah.
everyone looking out and doing well for each other. So some good will come from all of
Yeah.
this, and hopefully we can build on it.
And we have to make sure that we don't lose it and go back to that rat race that we were in. So hopefully we can all
Absolutely.
keep the
Yeah.
momentum going. So look, thanks very much, Evan, for taking the time today. And I'm sure our members would be really interested to kind of hear. Unfortunately, there's no networking events for you to attend at the moment, but our online pieces are kind of the new way to stay connected. And thanks for
No,
taking
listen.
the time.
No, and thanks very much for inviting us, Bernie. I look forward to continuing our relationship.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks,
Thanks,
Evan.
Emil.